All right. All right. There we go. There we go. Championship Ringside is back. I'm assuming I'm live. Let's hope so. Fuck it. All right. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody supporting the movement. Shout out to everybody just, shit, paying attention to the live, or if it's not paying attention to the live, shit, I'm guessing you're going to watch this on YouTube at some point. But this season 2, we working on things. Clearly, we still try. If somebody been paying attention to this whole thing, we try and get a live down. We're gonna get a better camera also. This is kind of the trial run. But if y'all don't know, y'all listen to the podcast on all major networks. Of course, on social media, Facebook Championship Ringside, Instagram Championship _Ringside, Twitter at Champ Ringside. Email championshipringside@gmail.com. Besides that, welcome to the live stream. What we about to do today is do a live debate. We have some supporters, some fans who wants to debate some topics with us. We're gonna get them in. We're gonna have a few topics. We're gonna chop it up. Probably mention a few current things, probably mention a few later things, but we about to make it interesting. Yeah, I mean, without things, delaying, what we're gonna go over is the GOAT criteria. Is hand checking. Well, we'll get hand checking. We're gonna talk hand checking and overrated P's. Out to Keem, and well, shit. I think a first guest. I think our guys ready to jump in. Let's see if I'm doing this right.
I'm on.
All right. Good. So we want to welcome Protein Shake. What's going on, man?
I'm wondering where my applause.
What's going on, man?
Some background music, you dig?
Well, it's the first stream. I recorded everything. I let everybody know this the first trial. So, shit looking all choppy, or I don't got no intro music or special effects. When I start dropping facts today, I'm gonna have to start working on fireworks and shit in the background. But what's going on, G? What's going on, Protein Shake? My bad.
Nah, G's cool. We could keep it like that. But yeah, what topic we gonna go on first?
Oh, you ready to jump in? You ain't trying to introduce nothing.
I don't know what I ain't that important to introduce myself. Follow me.
All right.
Let's call them on IG. That's all I got.
All right. So, I guess we gotta start with big news. Of course, we gotta start with big news. The biggest news is the draft, right?
Westbrook to the Lakers was bigger than that.
I was waiting on that.
Man, that's the biggest news in the NBA, man. They
of course
let the Lakers get Westbrook for like a wood nickel and some McDonald's fries. Like, come on, man. That's the biggest news in the NBA right now. No,
they put up a future. They put up a Wait.
Okay.
Say it again.
So they got Montrezl Harrell, right? Probably the best player they got. Who else? They got Kyle Kuzma.
Wait, Kuzma probably the best player though. You don't think?
Maybe. Like going forward, yeah. Montrez is a good 6-man. You dig? And then we got KCP, right? So basically you got he was
part of that deal?
KCP was part of the deal. And they got the 22nd
okay
pick. Yeah, so the 22nd pick is like it's a lottery ticket. Like that's all it is. Like when we're looking at the draft, the 22nd pick
ain't shit.
Yeah, but it's you can possibly get something with the 22nd pick, but you're not expected to. So it's a lottery ticket. It ain't nothing really major. So they basically got Westbrook for something for things that were inconsequential. For the Wizards, they got off Westbrook's contract. That's basically what they was looking at because I was thinking that they could have got something more for him, but they were
What?
looking to get off his contract. Like what they could have got for Westbrook,
Well,
would have
most of
been
the time, people.
well, no, I figured Westbrook
Say
was
it again.
better. I figured Westbrook was better than that, where you could have got more for him. Like it just depends on people who are willing to trade for you. Like just for example, like I know
That
Philly
market
was
pot is small.
when I'm just saying Philly, for example, they just wilding with the amount of what they want for Ben Simmons, right? But like I figured like a Westbrook Simmons trade wasn't out of hand. And the only reason why I feel like that is just because if we're looking at it from this standpoint, um, Philly needed somebody to be more aggressive than Westbrook on offense. I mean, more aggressive than Simmons on offense. Aggression is something that Westbrook does not have a problem with at all. He doesn't have a problem with aggression. So if basically you're looking at somebody who can't really shoot. They can't really give you anything on the outside, but they're going to be aggressive like Ben Simmons. Then you're looking at Westbrook and you have a better chance with it. And then you're saying we're at a win now stage. I guess the only problem with that trade to me, with Philly loses is Philly will lose like the defensive end when it comes down to Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons is a defensive player of the year candidate, whereas Westbrook like he's not. So that's the downside. But if you're looking at it from an offensive standpoint, then you got a good trade right there. Um, I do feel like they had teams that were on the brink that could have messed around and did better. Like even if I think about New York, right? If I think about the Knicks, Westbrook could have been to Tom Thibodeau offense. Westbrook could have been to Tom Thibodeau's offense what Derrick Rose was to the 2011 Bulls. So I just feel like when it come down to it, they had better options out there for the Wizards than the Lakers because the Lakers really didn't offer much.
I think they offer a lot for what the hell they had.
For what they had, but they didn't have anything. They didn't.
Ben
That's it.
Simmons.
That's it. You could give. Look, you can
I'm
give
not
me
all right.
all
So
the change
this is what
out
I
your
give you.
pocket, but if it come up to 9 cents, that's you didn't give me anything.
So this is what I give you. I give you that I don't get the direction Wizards going in no more. That like I'm not sure if they about to trade Bradley Beal. I hear reports that they keep him, and it's like, well, if you keep them, what y'all putting around them, you putting Kuzma and Harden around them, that don't make no sense. I give you that. As far as a better package for Westbrook, that's something I don't know. His contract crazy, and it's more of a everybody gotta approve of it, and I don't think too many teams would approve of a trade for Westbrook, especially with the contract and his history of playoffs.
Well, I think that was just the fact that the contract is just 1 year now. You dig? That's all he got left is a year.
I think it's 2 years. King
was on with no. He got a player option
this year, right?
Yeah, so it's right now. It's a 1-1
after this year.
So like for the Wizards, no, this year they have a 1-1. So he has His contract is good this year. Next year is a player option, which he could opt out of if he wanted to. And I think Bradley Beal is on the same thing. So that's why Washington was making a move to trade for him now. And it was like, if you making a move to trade for him now, trade him now, then in reality, you could have just you could have did better by trading for something, because he not opting in next year. Well, I wouldn't think that he'd opt in next year, because at the end of the day, like, at least the numbers that he put up, somebody might feel like he's worth it.
All right, well, King,
What's up? You can hear me good?
you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. You hear. All right, so yeah, we talking the Westbrook trade right now. I like there was a better opportunity out there. He protein shake. It was 9 cents. Change out their pocket.
You could keep
nothing.
You could keep it as G, bro. That make it easy.
I think they could have got a better trade. Oh shit!
What trade you see out there? He said he don't see what Ben Simmons trade wasn't one too crazy.
Wait, what you say?
He said Ben Simmons trade wasn't too crazy. He said that was kind of in reach.
Yeah, Philly.
No, I think Ben Simmons was out of hand. They wilding.
Huh?
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that was like that they could have entertained that.
No, I think Philly could entertain that. Philly just want, I don't know, they want like a James Harden deal for Ben Simmons. They wilding. But I think Philly could have entertained it. And if Philly would have entertained it, then it would have worked for Washington as well.
How you see Westbrook and B? Are you just saying that like on the strength of just a better package?
No, what I'm saying is like Westbrook with Embiid would be just like Ben Simmons with Embiid, just a more aggressive version. That's all I'm saying. Like Westbrook is a slightly better shooter than Ben Simmons. Like they're not giving you anything different on the offensive end.
Oh man, chill out. Chill out.
He's better. He not better than
he better. Yeah, he better.
6'8", 6'9".
He better.
Ben Simmons could guard.
He a better shooter, man. Chill out, man.
Man, I ain't see West play defense in about 5 years, bro. Come on now.
What's defense at the point guard position, man, bro?
Come on, bro.
Get rebounds for
you
the
got Chris
double.
Paul,
that's what he's doing.
Patrick Beverly, and who else? Drew Holiday. That's point guards in the league.
And Ben Simmons.
Nobody playing defense.
No, but at the same
whatever
time,
position he
plays, looking at it from that standpoint, Westbrook big enough to play a two. So, like I'm saying, if you talking about like defense, if Westbrook wanted to play defense, if Westbrook didn't guard a one, he can guard a two. Like he can guard a two defensively. Like it's not. I'm just saying, like he doesn't play defense, but he's more aggressive on offense than Ben Simmons. So the problem with Philly had with Ben Simmons was aggression. Like he was too passive. So if you don't want a Ben Simmons type player to be passive, you get Westbrook. It's real. That's a real easy trade-off because Westbrook don't have no problem with being aggressive at all.
I think Simmons' problem was that he don't know how to play with Embiid. He's 7'1"?
He was passive.
He can't play with a 7'1" dude. Come on, bro.
Well, no. So what the?
I think people just going. People at that pass.
Well, no. his stats in the fourth quarter, like the shot attempts in the fourth quarter of that playoff series, like he just didn't do anything. He didn't really shoot in the fourth quarter. And it was the fact that he was scared to go to the line. He was scared to miss shots, I believe. Like
Passed
he
up that
was he
open
was
dunk.
passive. Yeah, he is supposed to yam on Trey Young, but you know.
Yeah. What type of score performance you looking for out of Ben Simmons though?
Well,
I
it's
think
not
that's
really
that
just
night.
the
when you
fact
sit
that
back and think about that.
I think he could
well,
get
no,
Yeah,
the
something
only
random
thing
tonight.
that
nights
I'm
though.
saying is
Huh?
No, I'm
so
saying
wait, you talking about
he
what
can
kind
give
of
you 20,
scoring
he can give you,
performance
but
are you looking for?
then that tight next. Yeah, when you say he not being aggressive, it's like, all right, that's true. But you look at the players on his team, you got Embiid, who you definitely want to be your best for. To Harris, that's why you're paying him. Seth Curry, that's why he on the team. It's like you really want Ben Simmons to outscore them? Like he pretty much
No, it's
the
not
player
about
he was. He just needed to learn how to make Embiid into a 35 instead of a 30 doing
well, no, because
bars.
Might need
not
to change the offense.
well, no, I'm just saying at that point, you're not really talking about you're talking about play style, but aggression not just about taking shots, right? Aggression, like you can measure it by taking shots,
Mm-hmm.
but aggression is about your mentality. Like if he's going to the goal to pass, then that's why it looks like that. It looks like he's not being aggressive because he's going to the goal to pass. Like he's not going over there to try to score. He's going over there looking for the pass. And that's where they had a problem with, where like your entire mentality changed like in the fourth quarter, where you were looking as if you were scared to score or scared to attempt. So that's what an issue came in, was the fact that he was scared to make attempts.
I feel that. I don't know. Still the Westbrook thing got me on edge because I don't see where that will actually. Well, maybe they got shooting around them. I just think the Embiid thing. Oh, that all go in his decision making. So that's why I'm glad he with the Lakers, because decision makers of all time on his team. So let's see how he work with that. All
Yeah,
right, man.
that does help him out.
Y'all ready for the? Y'all ready for these topics? We ain't gonna talk about that today. That's we gonna let that cook some more because they gotta put some more pieces around that. But who the favorites in the West right now?
Shit, I would assume that it's
Feel
the
free to
Lakers
go
right now.
ahead.
Ain't nobody else made no. Yeah, I assume that it's the Lakers right now. Ain't nobody else made no moves yet. Like
Probably,
we don't know
probably
what's
have to
going
go
on.
with
We
the
don't know what
Lakers.
Golden State is doing. Uh, but yeah, it got to be the Lakers.
That's the only team I see making a move that'll be ground shaking.
So
No
you not giving
disrespect
Phoenix
to
no shot?
the point guard, but I think no shot, none hit. They let me see. They possibly could get the full seed. Possibly. If we not talking injuries, they could possibly get the full seed. But nah, that was that Seattle Supersonics finals we got out them. Good run. Nice to see him in the finals. I mean, anybody disagree?
Man, yeah, I mean, like you said, they probably can
Who
make the
giving
fourth
Phoenix a
seed
shot?
next year.
I'm listening.
They could probably be the fourth seed next year, but as far as
Possibly.
going to the finals, they hit.
Uh, yeah, I have no idea.
You have no idea.
No, I have no idea
All
because
right.
you got
Well,
you got the Lakers, obviously. You got Utah. No, but I'm saying you got the Lakers, you got Utah, you got Denver. So
Clippers.
you got the Clippers, but you don't even know what Kawhi doing. You don't know what Kawhi doing. You don't know what Chris Paul doing. Like we don't know what's going on right now. So like we can't.
what
We
you
have
mean
no idea
Kawhi
of
doing?
what's going
Kawhi
on
hurt.
and who's going where.
Right.
So
Nah, I get
Denver
that.
gonna
he
be
gonna be out
back
for
in
the
the
year.
Ain't he?
mix.
I don't know about for the year, but they
No, I'm
definitely
saying is
not.
he
They
gonna be out for the
definitely
year?
talking like he not gonna be that I don't know.
Right.
And I don't know what Clay gonna look like
All
when he
right, let
come
me
back. So we
see.
got the Warriors, and we don't know what the Warriors gonna do as far as with all those young pieces. How they gonna try to see if they could get a veteran or something like that. Like we still don't know what all that's gonna look like. So
They should have made
shit, when
that
you have
move
three
before the draft.
So
superstars
I
on a
heard
team,
Philly turned down the Warriors trade. I heard Golden State turned it down. Who turned it down?
I think they
I
said
think
Golden State turned it
Philly turned
down.
down the Golden State trade. So yeah, they didn't want what it was Wiggins, Wiseman, and just who draft picks or something like that.
And then they wanted like full
yeah,
I
Philly.
think they wanted full first round swaps or some shit like that. It was like a bunch of shit.
They want 4 first round picks. They wanted 4 first round picks, and then they wanted pick swaps as well. So they wanted 3
Mm-hmm.
pick swaps.
They wanted a lot, and
Like they wanted like a James Harden AD type haul for Ben Simmons.
you weren't
You
working
don't, you don't think that's fair? I think that's fair.
I mean,
What?
I mm-mm.
That's wishful thinking.
Ben Simmons, well, he 26. Like wait,
But
26? Some shit like
So
that.
dang,
And when
so
I
we
know he
seen him,
is.
we seen him play MVP basketball without Embiid. I'm saying
When
that time
we
Embiid was
wasn't
hurt.
talking about him for the MVP.
yeah, like it was like 2 years ago. I said like 2 years
I
ago.
said playing MVP basketball.
No,
That shit went clean away when Embiid came
ain't
back.
nobody talked about him for no MVP. ain't nobody ain't
That
nobody
shit
talked about
that
him
shit
for no
went
He had a
clean
nice
MVP.
away.
little
And
stretch when he was out.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. He still got potential. Everybody just he can work with Embiid, so they're gonna try to make him this point forward, this Giannis type player wherever he go. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do a Giannis thing wherever he go. That's what they gonna. All right, let me finish pushing, sharing this shit so we can go, get some more people on here. All right, so we can finally get into what we've been talking about. G, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so you know wow, shit, Keem then jumped out. Oh, all right, something happened. All right, so. All right, let me just make sure. I'm trying to make sure everybody here first before we jump into it.
But yeah, I think just thinking about that Ben Simmons trade, that was out of hand. Like what they wanted for him was out of hand.
Yeah.
I think he can work somewhere where they can build a Giannis type offense around him, but you're not about to get the works for him and unless you're not just gonna get the work for him just because he Ben Simmons. This is a project. This is somebody trying to do something with him. This not gonna be no we just gonna do this.
All right, we ain't gonna stick with that too much longer, but I just want to ask you this: you see Ben Simmons working with the Warriors, they still have Draymond too? I
I
thought
see
that'd been
Ben
the reason
Simmons
you
like a
switch it out.
Draymond type player. Yeah, I think Ben Simmons is a Draymond type player. Like with yeah,
So
I
you
think Ben Simmons
see
can play the
working out on the same team?
possibly just with Steph and Clay because you have those two as shooters, and then you have Ben Simmons as a perimeter defender, so much in that Iggy style, and those people they spread the flow for him. So I think they can work. I can think they could work together. Like basically, you have Draymond
All
at the
right.
undersized
What
five
about you, King?
position, Ben Simmons at that 4 position.
Yeah, that lineup
Like
shit.
yeah.
Bring that back.
Yeah, I guess Iggy could shoot. All right.
Not really.
Let's get into these
Better
main
than Ben
topics.
though,
Let's
but
get into
yeah.
these main
He
topics.
would shoot, but
Yeah, I'm about to say compared to Ben Simmons,
Yeah.
he a decent shooter. I know he ain't
Well,
the
I mean, if
man.
you ask Max Kellerman, he the most clutch, player there is
Of all time.
of all
That's
time.
that's why nobody asking him. That's why nobody asking him. I went over these topics with you, G. I don't know if I went over the topics with you, King, but G, you new to this. You new to this. So which topic you want to start with? Which one you more prepared for? What you got? I got, like I said, we got the GOAT criteria, we got overrated MVPs, and we got the hand check. I got a take on hand check.
I think we do overrate MVPs last.
Oh, no, I know where that's going.
Well, no, we
Okay,
can do overrated MVPs last. I think that's gonna be the one. We clash on the most.
Okay.
I think we could do hand checking first. I think that's one. Yeah, I think that's one that we. I don't know if we gonna disagree much on that one, but yeah, it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
I think we're gonna disagree on it because I think I talked to you plenty of times about it to I don't think we're gonna agree on that. But let's see what's up. All right,
that's cool.
So here's my take. I better hold up. Damn. All right. So hand check been going since about 2004. I'm right?
About that time, yeah.
All right. So most people on the radio, news outlet, whatever shit you listen to, that's what you hear. You hear people talking about, it wouldn't be like that with a hand check. Jordan would average 50. It wasn't for the hand. If it wasn't for the hand check, the hand check is the most notorious fucking rule of why the basketball went from the bigs to the guards. So my take is this. That's bullshit. I think the hand is fucking overrated. So I'm telling you like this. Think about this. Everybody say, "Oh, that's the changing of the guards when the hand checking rule got dismantled." When you name the top guards of all time, none of them dudes on the level of guards of this era. Think about what I'm saying. If you go back from, even give y'all from 2000 on back, you probably have, let's see, maybe 3-4 top 10 guards of all time. Like what? Gary Payton, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. What's the other guard I'm missing? Oscar Robertson. That's 4. But then when we move forward to 2000 forward, we got the AI, Kobe, James Harden. Like these dudes is better than regardless. That like the talent and the skill difference is way different. Like, if we can't act like, oh, if a dude could put his hand on Steph Curry wouldn't give him work. What? Or Kyrie wouldn't be able to sit there and shake a dude in the 80s. What? My bad. Isaiah Thomas. He another one. But I got you, Kim. I'm gonna let you get in on it. But let's be serious. Oh, James Harden will able to do all that in the 80s. Do what? Work you? Yeah, what? That step back deadly. All like these move sets are combined with and one. Like, you can't tell me, oh, if they hand them, it'll be easy. Like, wasn't hand checking around when AI shook Jordan? Am I tripping?
It's just all about how the game being called. That's all it is, dog.
I'm just at the skill level of the guards these days really trumps what people Steph Curry wouldn't be Steph Curry back in the 90s or the 80s because of the hand checking rule, or Jordan would average 50 because there's no hand checking going on. Like, come on, man, that's ridiculous. I'm calling things overrated. That take back to me. People need to let that go. I think the guards these days will be these guards because the game evolved. Tools are way better.
Right.
If you name the top 10 shooting guards and point guards, we talking about strictly talent, not accomplishment wise, because that's a whole nother topic. Strictly talent wise, you're gonna be named everybody 2,000 down, and then you're gonna wind up throwing out Magic. You're not even gonna say I'm the talent. Nobody show if Oscar just a good player. So you're gonna say Magic, you're gonna say Isaiah Thomas, you're gonna say Michael Jordan. There's no other talented guards. Sidney Moncrief was a defensive specialist, but they nobody gonna talk about him when it comes to being a talented guard. So name your talented guards of all time. You're gonna start naming these 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. What's up?
What about Pistol Pete?
What you got next? Pistol Pete, yeah, my bad. Yeah, but is he really gonna get named in the top 10 guards of all time? Well, I guess we're talking about talent, maybe. I'll give you that. It's Pistol Pete, but you still be. I don't know if y'all gonna count Trace McGrady, but Vince Carter, like right. Allen Iverson, like I mentioned earlier, Kyrie, James Harden, Steph Curry. Yeah, I don't think the hand check would have stopped these dudes. But that's my take on it. I'll let y'all get in on this. I don't know who won't go next on that. Keem, you want next on it, or you want to let G take the floor?
Yeah, you can take the floor.
All right. So
where you stand at? I'm tripping. Hand check overrated?
Nah, hand checking not overrated. Yeah, you definitely tripping. But I'm gonna tell you how, right? So, like, just exactly what you said,
right,
was evidence that the hand checking rule was hurting smaller players. That's what it was for. So I forget what the name of the guy was. There was I want to say he was like president of basketball operations for Phoenix, right? He was on a committee for the NBA in order for them to open up the game. And what he wound up doing was, I want to say it was like in 2000. They started off in like 2002, and it was working with the commission at the time and just talking about how they could open up the game as far as like perimeter play and everything like that, because ratings were going down. After the Detroit LA finals, they started talking about the hand checking rule on how Detroit was guarding Kobe, right? So wind up coming around, I want to say it was the 04-05 season, or it was 05-06 season. It was one of those seasons, right? They abolished the hand checking rule. At that time, Phoenix signed Steve Nash, right? When Phoenix signed Steve Nash, all of a sudden, Steve Nash was a 2-time MVP at 30 years old. So at 30 and 31 years old, Steve Nash is a 2-time MVP. This usually does not happen when it comes down to players. Players don't get better when it comes down to them being 30 and 31. So Steve Nash was a 2-time MVP at the age of 30 and the age of 31. And then at the age of 32, he came in second to Dirk. And the only reason why he came in second to Dirk was the what the media was saying. And I remember Charles Barkley saying this, like, hell no, Steve Nash is not a 3-time MVP because he's at this point, you're putting him up there with the greats. He's not as good as Larry Bird. He's not as good as Michael Jordan. He's not that dude. So we not voting for him no more. Like, and he had a legit chance to be a 3-time MVP because of what he did that third year once he got his squad back. So that's just one example, but Phoenix was in on this the whole time. Like But yeah, Phoenix was in on this whole time. They was on a competition committee. Yeah, they was on a competition committee. So when they was building that team, that 7 seconds or less team, that team was built because of the rule changes. But they was part of the rule changes. That's how crazy it was. So Amari in the 80s or 90s or whatever like that, Amari would have been a power forward. Amari would not have been a center. And Shawn Marion would have been a small forward. He would not have been a forward. But they was doing this slide. They was doing this eliminate the center lineup on some stuff because of how the rules were changing. And if you look at how the rules have changed as far as the less physical nature of basketball, you have probably since, and I might not be correct, but I want to say it was since Shaq. Yeah, since Shaq, the big men who have won MVP, it probably was Tim Duncan was the last, but the big men who have won MVP has been Dirk.
Who you talking about besides
Giannis,
Joker?
And you got Joker. Yeah, no, I'm saying, but I'm saying since probably Shaq or Duncan, right? Since Shaq or Duncan won MVP, and I think Duncan last MVP was 02-03. So I'm saying, like, once we look at a traditional big man, right?
Garnett was before? Oh, traditional big man. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right.
Garnett was in 04.
Okay.
So we got Garnett in 04. After that, you got non-traditional big men who have won MVP. And you talking about Dirk, which was 07. You got Giannis with his fucking Euro step. He won 2 back-to-back MVPs. And then you have Jokic. So these are non-traditional big men. So when it comes down to the less physical nature of basketball, prior to the hand-checking rule, centers dominated the MVP race. Like, if we look back on the MVP race, centers have dominated. But after that, you damn near eliminated. And I'm including like traditional big men like KG and Tim Duncan in this, but you pretty much eliminated the centers. Like, I would assume that KG and Tim Duncan can still play in this era, especially KG, because he's much more mobile than Tim Duncan. So when it comes down to switching on a point guard, that's something that he doesn't really have a problem with. Young KG, or even Boston KG before he got real old. But the less physical nature of basketball changed the game because now guards dominate. And we're not talking about just the elite level guards. If we go through like a top 25 in the NBA, it's going to be mostly 1 through 3s. Like, it's going to be perimeter players. Like, you're going to have a couple where you're going to have big men in there, but the big men that's going to really be in there is going to be big men who can play on the perimeter. Like you have, aside from Embiid and Embiid. That's probably it. Like, if we just looking at top 25 players, maybe we have Gobert in there. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about the top 25 players, but maybe we have Gobert in there. But let's be honest. It's a guard driven league, and that's partially because of hand checking.
All right, so
I'm not gonna sit here and say
I can
skill.
rebuttal
I'm not
that.
gonna sit here and say that these guards would. My bad. I'm not gonna sit here and say that that skills haven't evolved. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, these guards wouldn't be these
There you
guards
go. Walk,
in the
walk right back.
'90s or anything like that. I'm not gonna say that. No, but I'm saying I'm not gonna
Walk
say
right
that.
back.
What I'm gonna say,
Look,
listen to what I'm saying.
go
What
ahead.
I'm going to say that when it comes down to the way that the rules are set up now, the rules are set up for them to excel. So if James Harden, say for example, James Harden scores averages 37 now or whatever like that, it might have been lower in the 80s and 90s because the rules weren't set up the way for him to do it that way. If Kyrie is a person that's averaging 26, maybe it's going to be a little bit lower because the rules weren't set up for him to excel the way that he excels. And that's all I'm saying.
All right. Let me ask you this, man. All right, so that's cool. That's cool that you said that. So this is what I'm wondering. You was like, okay, the big men in the 80s and 90s was getting the, well, not the 90s clearly, but the 70s and the 80s was getting MVPs. I understand that. The way basketball was played, it was thrown down to the big men and let them score. And it was pretty much that way both ways. Now, your monopoly, I guess that's the right word, was Steve Nash. I get that. Steve Nash probably wouldn't have got what he got during those times, but I think Steve Nash didn't get it because of play of skill, because the pick and roll offense and the 7-second was just that good. Once again, I think if you place that in the 80s, that's Showtime Lakers. Like that's how I'm looking at that. Like,
yeah,
it was just
that's
another
Showtime.
fast-paced
Showtime was
offense.
fast paced. Yeah.
So I'm looking at Steve Nash. But my thing towards you is, if you pay attention to basketball, these big men went from Chamberlain, Kareem, when it got to about Hakeem, it started getting a little further away from the basket. Shaq, he came a little closer. Then when it got to Duncan and Garnett, it started getting further and further away from the basket. The centers actually stopped being as skilled under the goal. Like, damn, is that really the last one? I'm trying to think. Damn.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
Shaq is the last one. Shit. So yeah, the skill the skill set just kind of got backed up when you think about it. Is okay, they got to be a little bit further away from the goal, and the pick and roll became more effective when there was the option of pick and roll or pick and pop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one, and also give you catch back on the James Harden. Who are we sitting there saying had the skill set of James Harden and Kyrie and Steph? That's the part I always look at when I sit there and say, okay, yeah, they can put their hand on you. They can put their hand on you and mess things up and direct you. But the NBA, like the rules are dedicated for the guards, and I'm going more towards them carrying a little more, or damn near letting them travel on certain plays. That's more dedicated to them. But we sticking straight to the hand checking. Come on, G. We watch and going up, man. You see what happened when you put that hand too close to them, man. That's sauce all day.
So okay. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things that I was going to talk about was the fact that when it comes down to like the travel rules and the way that they changed it, like that the reason why James Harden is able to do that step back is because that gather step is one step. When that shit really like a hop in a step, like that shit is one step now. In the 80s and 90s, that shit was not that. So when we talking about creating separation, that's something completely different. Now, if we look at also when we're talking about as far as far as players, we got to look at big men. We got to look at their influence, right? The influence, the most influential player in the 80s was Michael Jordan. The 80s and 90s, Michael Jordan was the most influential player. And if you started watching basketball in the 90s or in the mid 90s, the most influential player was Kobe. So if we're looking at people looking at those two players, right? They're going to want to play like those two players. So even if you wind up being a little boy that grows up to be 7 foot tall, and Michael Jordan was your favorite player or Kobe was your favorite player, then you're gonna want to do the shit that Michael Jordan and Kobe did. That's just what happened. That's just what it is. So when you wind up seeing players that step back a little bit further, where you have players that you go to the park, you have this tall ass dude that's 6'6". You feel me? He looks like a center. He like his game or his speed is like a center. But this motherfucker wants. I'm sorry. I know I probably can't curse on y'all stuff, but he won't
Oh
stand by the
no,
3-point line and shoot.
they definitely curse.
But I'm saying he's standing at the 3-point line. You dig? And he won't shoot there when it's like, dude, you literally could stand under goal, like I feed it to you, and you're gonna lay it up every time. It's easy. He won't go by the 3-point line and shoot. So the guards who could handle that physical activity did definitely influence big men going forward. All I'm saying is that when it comes down to big men now, the way that the game is set up, is set up for guards to be able to get into the things that they do. Like if we talking about hand checking, like the more relaxed defense, and being able to carry and travel when you step back and all this other stuff. Like when you are able to do these different things and giving players an extra step on offense, if we look at it and say, oh well, all the best guards are now, then yeah, you can say that now because the rules are changed. Like I know one of your favorite players, Bob Cousy, right? Yeah, I gotta mention
shout out
one
to
of your
Bob
favorite guys.
Cousy. Hey,
Bob
look,
Cousy.
look. You can hate on the 60s all you want. You can hate on the 60s all you want.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not.
He was.
No, I'm not.
1960.
Listen. No, but listen to what I'm saying. When it comes down to Bob Cousy, in order for you not to get called a carry, you had to keep your hand on top of the basketball. So all this shit like this right here and all that, that's carry. So when it comes down to, say for example, Kyrie, if we throw Kyrie in the 60s, Kyrie would average 100 turnovers a game because as soon as he started dribbling, that's a carry. You got to keep your hand on top of the ball. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like, if we're gonna say I can't say that Bob Cousy is one of the greatest of all time or is not one of the greatest of all time because I don't know if he was allowed to be one of the greatest of all time because how the rules were implemented in his era. So not trying to mess over him, I'm just saying like how the rules have changed. He wasn't able to do the things that they did now, not because he didn't have the skills, because if he did it, that was a turnover.
Yeah, I mean that's just I get what you're saying, but I think I tie too much credit to the hand check when it comes to that. I think the skill set I think is more heavy. Now you move by the carry, the travel rules. That's probably more dedicated to the guards being there. But if you a pure basketball specialist, you look at the highlights of these old guards, they ain't holding the candle to what we got going on now. But of course, the NBA want to be more entertaining, so I give you that. But look, before we can get to that, we can finish off with this. So you one of those people like Jordan coming this era without the hand check, he averaging 50?
Hell no, there's no way. Like 50 is ridiculous. Do I believe that Jordan can average 40 in a season? Yes, I believe Jordan can average 40 in a season. I don't think that he could average that.
Uh,
I believe that it would be really hard for him to get to 50.
if he averaged 40, that's impressive to you?
If he averaged 40, it depends on when he averaged
Yeah,
40.
yeah.
Like
If
if
he
he
averaged 40.
no, I'm saying it depends on when he averaged 40s. Like if he's averaging 40 as a winner, then yeah, that shit is impressive. But like, is he taking like 30 shots a game? Like like is he an 8 seed? Like what we doing? It depends
See,
on
I set
if
you
he
up.
can incorporate that into winning. If he can incorporate that into winning.
All right. So was Jordan averaging 40 impressive, but you so on Wilt's 50? It makes no sense.
No,
Why
that's
you
not what I'm
on
saying.
Wilt's 50?
What I'm no, when, bro, you're not even sticking to topics. But when it comes down to me being so on
Nah,
Will's
nah,
50,
the
only
wait, you're
no,
right.
no,
Elaborate on it too heavy. I'm
I'll
just fucking
explain.
with
I'll explain.
you on this. We got to move to the next
No, but
topic
look,
anyway.
I'll explain. All right, you want me to explain, or you want to move to the next topic?
Uh, long story short, why you don't give Will his credit for his 50 piece for a season? Long story short.
No, we'll definitely get his credit for his 50 piece. I just don't like when it comes down to era where the pace was twice the pace of this era. It's hard to say that uh I don't want to say that 50 is 50. 50 Wilt still has the most impressive scoring season in NBA history. It's still impressive. I think like say for example 45 in the 90s would have been more impressive to me though.
All right.
Or in the 2000s, give you the 2000s.
But
45 in the 2000 would have been more impressive to me.
I'll give you that. I think in any era, I personally think if averaging 40 or above in any era is fucking impressive. I think we took Will for granted, and people
It
get
is.
too
It's still the
emotional
most
about
impressive
him
ever.
because he was an asshole. So look, speaking of Will, this is the conversation right here. This one I'm excited. So we go back and forth all the time. Everybody go back and like I talk to people all across about basketball. I love talking to old heads because they try to kick knowledge and act like you don't know shit because you're young. I like talking to youngins because they act like they know shit because they watch shit now. I like talking to people my age because I'm one of the people who's stuck on one player and they stuck on another. But the thing about it is one thing nobody talk about is the rules or what sets the what are you basing shit off of? That is the biggest question. That is shit that everybody needs to clear up. And shit, Championship Ringside is here. I got one of the biggest debaters here. I think it's time we clear up what exactly is people looking for when it comes to being a GOAT. Like, okay, this guy's the GOAT because of blank. What are we actually looking for? Because if we had to break it down, we got to include accomplishments. We got to include accolades. I think that's two different things. Accolades are like trophies and records. So I said I mentioned those as separate things. Got to include. You got to include winning championships. And my biggest thing that I think people really don't pay attention to, and I think I actually rely on that more than anything, is dominance. So those are my 5 things that I think I base my GOAT criteria off. And now, and just to be clear, when I talk about GOAT, that's greatest of all time. I look at that talk position. So let me see what's the best way I can put it. So I can understand somebody have Bill Russell above Wilt as far as the greatest of all time. But when we talk about who's the best center, I can see why people put Wilt above Bill. You get what I'm saying when I say that?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't agree, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
All right. Yeah, I mean, me either. I think I kind of just try to stick with pretty much what I try to stay with the same criteria, but I can understand why shit will go both ways. So I'm gonna say it like this. I think the first we should look at when we say the GOAT is dominance. Like how long he dominated the game and how and what fashion. I think that should stick out like a sore thumb. I think the top three. I think that's debatable what the top three are. I think people who disrespect the position of the big man, not paying attention to the game. But yeah, I think that's why the top three, because they dominated their decade with no rival, pretty much. And then that's when you get to the who dominated more. I think that's why most people have Magic and Larry right next to each other. No matter what, if one the other one two, if 1-7, 1-8, they always keep next to each other because they rival the same era, and and it was strictly on dominance. Once you get down to dominance, you get that down. As you move forward, you have to go to resume. I mean, you talk a lot. I think resume is a big thing because, again, you mentioned Bob Cousy in the last segment, but all you could do is YouTube highlights on and look at his basketball reference. After everybody stopped playing basketball, all they got is a basketball reference. I get read advanced numbers and see what happened, but I still have to look at the resume. Okay, this guy was an all-star. This guy was clear as day by the numbers, the best point guard. He clear as day was dominating because he won championships. He clear as day was all NBA for this many times. So I think right after dominance, you had to go with resume. Who resume was better? Now, of course, you have details of okay, why this dude resume looks good, but that's when it goes down to accolades. I think you need to look at somebody's trophy shelf and say, okay, shit, Jordan got 10 scoring titles. Like nobody could sniff on that. Kareem got 6 MVPs. Like you can't hold a trophy for that. Jordan got 6 Finals MVPs. Those are the things that shows what it goes back to dominance. But at least now you have the proof and showing, because of course the top 10 players have everything, but once you get down to like 20, 30, that's when you had to break it down. Like what's another good example? Somebody who was dominant but didn't win. Well, fuck all that. We'll go to that later. So accolades and accomplishments, of course, and then I think that's when you go down. If you want to nitpick, get down to numbers. But usually when you talk about the top 10, if you think about it, I don't know if you ever really paid attention to it. When you get down to the top 10 players, nobody talk about numbers. Oh, he averaged this, he averaged that. They pretty much talk about what they did for the game. And that's pretty much where I stand in the GOAT criteria. I go with dominance, I go with resume, then I go with accolades, accomplishments, and then numbers. Your floor.
All right. So yeah, dominance is the biggest thing to me. And I think when it comes down to, I try to judge a player by their prime, right? And the reason why I try to judge a player by their prime is because you wind up having some players who are chasing something else. They might be chasing history, and with them chasing history, they wind up putting longevity numbers, but they wind up not reaching that goal. So let me say Kobe, for example, or Shaq. We can use either one of those, right? And the reason, and look, I'll use Shaq, right? Like if we look at Shaq, Shaq was Shaq was Shaq was Shaq, and Shaq was drafted in '92. Shaq won a championship with the Heat in '06. If he retires in '06, we look at him much differently than we look at him like going to Phoenix, going to Cleveland, going to Boston, and different things like that. So I think people people forget what Shaq did when Shaq was Shaq. You feel me? When Shaq started chasing titles, that's when people started having this blurry version of who Shaq really was. Like people start looking at Shaq differently, and they start thinking like you can put Tim Duncan above Shaq as far as the GOAT debate. When it's like Tim Duncan was never competition to Shaq when Shaq was Shaq. When Shaq was Shaq, Tim Duncan had to wait until Shaq had an off year for him to get a title. And that's what the Spurs did. Like I'm keeping it funky. Like the Spurs got a title in '99. Shaq and them got 3 straight. '03, Shaq and Kobe, they not gelling. The Spurs get another title. Shaq and Kobe go back in '04. Tim Duncan gets a title in '05. Then Shaq and D Wade get it together in '06. And I don't know who was it the Spurs in '07? I don't know. I don't know who it was in '07. But I'm saying like
It was Spurs.
like basically you had to wait till it was Spurs in '07. Okay. So you basically for Tim Duncan, you had to wait for Shaq to be not Shaq, for Shaq to have an off year for you to get a title. But Shaq was when Shaq was doing Shaq shit, you wasn't fucking with Shaq. But now when we look at it, we look at Tim Duncan being higher than Shaq because we compare 20 years of Tim Duncan to 20 years of Shaq. And Tim Duncan was more consistent over 20 years than Shaq was over 20 years because Shaq was probably consistent for 14. So when I look at a player's prime, if I look at player 10-year prime, then nah, you're not fucking with Shaq. So I'm just saying for that standpoint, I try to look at a player's prime. Now, we can kind of prove that. So just for me, when I'm saying looking at prime, looking at dominance and things like that, those are really the criteria that I go by. Now, the other things to prove that we can measure that by the trophy case, we can measure that by the accomplishment, we can measure that by numbers and all this other good stuff. But all of that is just pointing to all of the stuff that we talked about already. Like just you the best at your best, and when it comes down to your dominance.
Okay. So you agree with me that numbers bullshit once you get to the top of the top, right?
I don't think we go by numbers so much as we actually look at them as proof of what you did. So I don't think we actually say like, okay, well, Jordan the best because he averaged 30. I don't think we do that. I think we look at the fact that Jordan did all this other stuff and says Jordan got 6 titles, Jordan got 10 scoring championships, he has this and he has that, and oh, by the way, he averaged 30. Right? So I think it's just proof, or you use that as like evidence of what you're actually talking about. I don't think you
it's
really
usually the last
mess around
thing because
and go by numbers. We don't know Larry Bird numbers off the top of our head. We don't know Magic numbers off the top of our head. Like we don't know Tim, we don't know Magic. I mean Shaq. We don't know their numbers off the top of our heads. So I'm just saying, yeah, when it comes down to just numbers, that's like probably the last thing that we look at.
All right. So now I want to stick with one of the things you was talking about. So you say, I feel like when you talk about longevity, you saying it as if it's a cheat code. And I'm looking at longevity as
no,
that's actually a plus. Because if I sit there and think
longevity
about
is definitely a plus.
Yeah, so it's kind of tough to. That's why the prime thing. And that makes sense why numbers really don't matter when it comes to the GOAT conversation. Because all right, I'm gonna start naming names. Kobe, as good as I think Kobe is, I don't think Kobe is a GOAT compared to Jordan. Like Kobe had the longevity to where he put up numbers, of course, but his numbers still didn't touch MJ's. And then, like I said, I think when we talk to Kobe and Jordan, it's a cute conversation when we talk about, who is better. I think that's a better boxing match than who has a better resume. Even stats wise, I think it's not even that good of a conversation. I think all you can do is talk about who's a better basketball player. Like, okay, who would you pick on the court? That would be the only debate you would have. As far as like I said, I lost my train of thought. As far as like the longevity thing, that's why I think you still have to give credit to things like people knock John Stockton because he played 18 years, something like that. But the dude went like 16
about 20 something like that.
Yeah, he went like 16 of them seasons playing 82 games. When you put that in perspective, bro, I'm looking at it like, man, shit, he definitely deserves some type of credit to be in a top in some type of top position. We'll get to the top point guards, of course. It's not this first episode. Gonna get to the top. But yeah, I think stuff like that. I think people try to knock longevity. I feel like you're one of the type of people who knocks longevity, like Kareem.
So no, let me jump on that.
Go ahead.
Look, let me jump on that. I think when it comes down to, in Kareem's case, longevity helped him, right? And the reason why I'm saying longevity helped him is because when we look at Magic, if like when Kareem was dominant, when Kareem was Kareem, right? Kareem won 2 championships when Kareem was Kareem, right? As a very dominant player, the face of the league, the best player in the NBA, Kareem won 2 championships. And when he wound up playing with Magic, then I believe he got 4 more, right? So in that scenario, longevity.
Are you looking at Are you counting the 1980 as the face of the league in the 1980 championship? That's you counting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking from I think he was drafted in 69 or some shit like that. But it was like 69 to 80. That's
I
him
believe
as the face of the league. And then we wind up going from 81 to, I think Kareem retired in 89. From 81 to 89, they won 4 championships. And we can clearly see from 81 to 89 that Kareem was not the best player in the NBA, nor was he the best player on his team. But when it comes down to it, he was able to stack up those accomplishments during that time period to where he can cement himself as a GOAT candidate. Now, when it comes down to Kobe, if we're looking at Kobe from, say for example, just like I mentioned, Shaq retired. If Shaq would have retired in 2006, like if Kobe retires in after that championship in 2011, they were talking about Kobe being the best Laker at that point.
10.
Magic never played for any team. 2010. Yeah.
Dallas won in 11.
So if Kobe retires after that season, right? If Kobe retires after that season, then they were talking about Kobe being the best Laker. So we putting Kobe above Magic at this point because Magic only played with the Lakers. And we got Magic at worst 6 right now, all time. Now you have people that's saying that Kobe is closer to 10 or 11. No, I'm just being honest. I'm saying so when it comes down to this,
I don't have Magic
because of Kobe's longevity.
6, no.
No, I'm saying so if we look at like popular polls, at worst Magic is probably 6. If we look at popular polls, right? So But we have on popular polls, we have Kobe as low as 11, right? But if we were looking at after their championship in 2010, we had Magic saying that Kobe is going to go down as the best Laker. But then you wind up having injuries and first round exits and things like that, where now all of a sudden we have revisionist history and we're saying, and damn, I'm going at the big fundamental like this, but now all of a sudden we saying that Tim Duncan is better than Kobe when no time during the 2000s when they were playing together in their prime did we feel like Tim Duncan was better than Kobe. We never felt like that. But now after their career, we feel like that. You feel me? So that's why I feel like longevity hurts people, because Kobe was looking for that sixth ring. You feel me? And like he was looking for that sixth ring till his body told him no. And that's where longevity hurts some players. But in opposite for Kareem got 4 rings, and I'm saying found it like he didn't earn them. But Kareem got 4 rings like while playing with somebody who can be considered the best player in the league at that time. And that's where it was a direct compliment to what he did. So it's just the fact that it can help and it can hurt if you look at it from a like just a black and white standpoint. If we're just looking at like a ledger and saying like, okay, this person scored this amount of points, this person has this amount of rings, this person has this amount of this, then yeah, it winds up helping you. But at the same time, the way that we look at it, like in as almost contemporaries, where we can see these people play, we see the difference of the things that happen, because we know we had Kobe at probably top 5 prior to 2010, and then all of a sudden people pass him up that did not play. So that's
the stuff I know. So to clear this, we're gonna finish off on this one. I think we pretty much made our GOAT criteria. We're gonna get to the GOAT conversation one day. The reason I held out on it because I want to make sure we give our stance on criteria when we finally give our GOAT debate. I think it's fair for us to sit there and say, if this show lasts long enough, we gonna hold out till LeBron retires. Maybe shit. I don't even know, because he playing forever, seem like. And then by that time, Steph probably do something else. So when he debating to be the top 10, yeah. By the time he retires, Steph and KD gonna have a debate to be in top 10. Like fucking Giannis gonna fall under being a conversation for top. We gonna have to do a top 10 before. I was trying to wait till LeBron retired to do a top 10, because, like you were saying, Kobe was top 5, and then he moved down from players who didn't play. It's like So if means I think we need to just wait till we get some stability. Only problem is LeBron keep playing. He keep playing. So it's like we might have to just pick a day to do a GOAT ranking. But besides that's the reason I held out. But it changes stupidly, because you think about it, like Kobe, like you said, Kobe was low as 11 on some people's list, and God rest the dead. But now he be jumping up into people's top 8 and 9 and 10s. I mean, 8 and 5s now. It's like, why now? Because he's been retired for about 3-4 years now. If we look at it like that, I'm saying to myself, that's kind of like the Oscar Robertson debate. Like sometimes he's overrated, sometimes he's underrated. Then it's like, well, we got to find consistency with it. So this is why I wanted to do this GOAT criteria conversation, because when we finally actually present it, now mine's based off of dominance, period. Like I said, Kareem, LeBron, and Jordan. I know I revealed the top 3, but you stupid if you don't know who I'm talking about. They clearly ruled their decades. They clearly ruled the 70s, clearly ruled the 90s, clearly ruled the 2010s. I don't give a fuck that somebody else won the MVP or a championship during that time. When we talk about best player during that decade, it wasn't a debate. I get Dr. J was in the ABA, but shit, they got a viral video out with Kareem giving Dr. J smoke and won. So shut me up. So Kareem got that. 80 like 2000s got Kobe and Duncan. 80s got Magic and Bird, and the 60s got Wilton Bill. So that's pretty much why I wanted to wait. I wanted to make sure we walk everybody into this. But you ready for this final one, man?
I forgot what the final one was. What we talking about?
Come on now. It all goes back full circle. Our first topic was, God. So me and you always talking.
Oh yeah.
And
okay,
you feel like MVPs have levels, which they have levels, but you feel like my dog Russell Westbrook won a gimmick MVP.
He did. Absolutely. So I guess we going to overrated MVPs. You want me to go ahead and start this? You want me to are we doing like a top five list of gimmick MVPs?
If you have a top five, I don't have a top five. So tell you okay. I'm about to say, if you could think of something, I'll give you a rebuttal. But you know my take on this. My whole take is defending Westbrook MVP and giving credit to Derrick Rose MVP and rebuttals to the Chris Paul, Kobe debate. We got that to talk about, and we have the Steve Nash debate. But the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. All right, cool. It's good that you put those out there because I could talk about all those. The first one I'm going to mention is just we might not have a debate on this one, but Kareem MVP when he missed the playoffs. Do we have a debate on that one? Like, is that a real MVP? Well, it's a real MVP, but isn't that's come on now? You don't get MVP when you miss the playoffs.
Damn, we probably should. All right. I'm trying to think. When did it switch over? Wasn't the players voting on that then?
The players was voting on that, and the players voted for Kareem. So the players voted
so
for
are
that.
we?
I just feel like that's
my take was, who are we to question the players when it comes to that? Because like they out there, they know who giving them smoke. They know who giving them problems. So I don't really knock Kareem for who wanted that. I mean, so who you give it to that year?
No,
did you recall that year? You
looked it up. Give it to, but not Kareem. No, I don't know, but Kareem not getting it that year.
Fucking give it to the kid. Give it to the kids in the stand, huh?
Somebody in the stand. Somebody look. The kid that's buying all the popcorn. We gotta get to him. But look, now look.
Seat number D12 here.
Now look, I'm gonna say this. There was a year that Dave Cowens won MVP from Kareem. Well, Kareem still deserved that MVP. So Kareem would still probably have 6. If we're looking at real MVPs, and we might need to do an episode on that, real MVPs of whatever year. But Kareem would have probably still won it that year, but just the year that we talking about, nah, Kareem don't get the MVP if you miss the playoffs. So Derrick Rose.
Like I said, my only kickback to that was, but I'm because I ain't gonna go back to that Kareem.
I'm about to mention it. So no, I'm just saying the Derrick Rose MVP. I believe Derrick Rose deserved that MVP. The reason why I believe Derrick Rose deserved that MVP is because once you put together a super team, then you have to put super numbers up. And what I mean by super numbers up is you have to put the wins up. So you got to put up like 60 plus wins in order to say like somebody off that team deserves MVP. Like prior to them dudes getting together, all those dudes were in MVP conversations. And I want to say Chris Bosh was probably 5 on that list. Like I want to say 2010, LeBron was 1, D Wade was 3, Chris Bosh was 5 on the MVP list, and they got together. So now, if
you talking about
somebody
the year before,
gets a better record than you in in your conference. So yeah, 2010, LeBron won MVP, right? D
Mm-hmm.
Wade was third. I want to say Chris Bosh was fifth.
Okay.
Chris Bosh might have been
I
seventh,
ain't know
but I
that
think
now.
Chris Bosh was fifth. But those three players got together, and the Bulls had a better record than them. The man on the Bulls team was unquestionably Derrick Rose. So if Derrick Rose leads his team to a
Mm-hmm.
better record than people with 3 MVP candidates on that team, then of course he deserves the MVP. I'm not looking at the numbers. The numbers that I'm looking at that makes that matter the most is wins. So when I look at that, I'm looking at Derrick Rose. The problem with Derrick Rose's MVP is the fact that Derrick Rose got hurt in 2012 after he won MVP, and his team still won like a crazy amount of games. So there was like, oh shit, we looked back at it, and it was like, nah, Derrick Rose didn't deserve that MVP because his team still did well without him. So that's revisionist history again. Um,
Wait. You think the problem is because we after that? I figured the problem
after
was because
that,
of I think the problem was the fact that LeBron was clearly still the best player. Just everybody hated him.
but that's not. Well, no, because we can. If we're saying the best player in the NBA, the MVP goes to the best player in the NBA. Then Shaq gets more than one. Kobe gets more than one. Kareem gets like 10. Jordan probably gets 10. Like LeBron probably gets 12. Like if we just giving it to the best player in the
Okay,
NBA in
I
the
get what you're
NBA
saying.
of
I
that
get
year, then yeah. So I'm just saying,
so
like when it comes down to the most
we
valuable
talking
player argument, then
we
I'm
talking
saying,
value. Yeah,
shit,
we talking value.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
understand that we talking value because LeBron was the best
yeah.
player. He played out his mind, but Derrick Rose turned the Bulls into something special. But I only thing I say I see where the
Right.
disagreement coming at when you said
No.
shit.
I
What
was
you had
just
said about it?
you named some MVPs, so I was just naming what I thought about him. When it comes down to Steve Nash, I believe Steve Nash deserves both his MVPs, and here's why. Steve Nash went to a team, and when he went to that team, he wound up turning that team from a 20-win team. They won 26 games the year before. They won
Mm-hmm.
62 games the year he went there. All right. So then Steve Nash won MVP. Then all of a sudden, he lost Q Rich. He lost Joe Johnson. He lost Amari Stoudemire. He lost Jim Jackson. Basically he lost everybody except for Barbosa and fucking Sean Merrick. Lost everybody on the team. And there was like it's easy to be MVP when you have all these weapons, you dig? Like when you got all these receivers, you feel me? Like for example, I know you don't watch I know you don't watch that much football. But if we're looking at
I watch enough. I
like
watch
the
enough.
2001 St. Louis Rams or whatever like that, we got Isaac Bruce, we got
Kurt
fucking
Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey
Isaac
Holt,
Heem, we
Marshall
got
Falk.
yeah,
I'm on it.
yeah, yeah, we got all them players, right? And then all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
the only nigga we got left is you have Torrey Holt and you got Kurt Warner, right? We ain't got no Marshall Falk, we don't have no Isaac Bruce, we don't have no Isaac King, we don't have none of that. All right. And they gave Kurt Warner the MVP the year before, and then all of a sudden, Kurt Warner does basically the same thing that he did last year, this year. It's a no-brainer that he gets MVP. So in that time, he wound up getting MVP again because he lost all of this talent, all these receivers that he had, and then all of a sudden he winds up doing it again. You feel me? So I understand why he got MVP twice. My overrated MVPs.
Yeah. All right.
So look, I'm about to give you my overrated MVPs.
All right, wait.
All right.
Go ahead. I'll catch you. I'll catch you back on that one. Go ahead.
All right. So my overrated MVPs. I'm gonna go first with Russell Westbrook. The reason why I'm saying Russell Westbrook.
Fucking hater.
Wait, it gets better. The reason why I say Russell Westbrook is an overrated MVP is because the only way that you can justify Russell Westbrook's MVP is because he averaged the triple-double. There's nothing else that you can say on this planet why he got MVP over James Harden. And the reason why I'm saying that is we've gone over this. They've had similar supporting cast. James Harden won 8 more games, right? And that 8 more games, that got him into a 3 seed rather than a 6 seed. So I'm saying when it comes down to James Harden, giving yourself a top seed without a secondary star, that's going to get you in that MVP actual debate. Now, does Russell Westbrook deserve consideration? Absolutely, because what Russell Westbrook did was a Herculean effort. He did not have a second star, so he did deserve to be in a conversation. But actually deserving second or third or something like that, like maybe, but like you don't deserve first. Like that's the only thing that you can say Russell Westbrook reason why he deserved MVP. Oh, Russell Westbrook, he averaged triple-double. That's it. That's my oh, this would actually be my third overrated MVP because I said Kareem was the first one. And these are not only people
number 3?
how I think about. Matter of fact, yeah, it's my number 3. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you probably another one because I have to think about it. My number 3 overrated MVP is Kobe. And I'm gonna let that marinate for a while. You dig? The only reason why I say Kobe was overrated for as the MVP is because that year was probably one of the worst years to give it to Kobe. Like I understand, like the NBA like messed over Kobe a couple times. Kobe could have won the MVP probably like 2 or 3 times before this, right? But the NBA did not give Kobe MVP, so they waited till 08 to give him MVP, which I believe at that time the MVP should have actually been Chris Paul. And the reason why I believe that it should have been Chris Paul was what he did with the roster that he had. Chris Paul was the engine that drove the, I don't know what they call them, New Orleans Hornets at that time. The 56 wins. Kobe had 57 wins. But yeah, we knew we didn't have a squad. We knew we didn't have a championship team or anything like that. We just was happy that Chris Paul was holding us down like that. And since Chris Paul was holding us down like that, playing out of his mind, then we had a chance to actually go to some playoff games. But other than that, there's like Chris Paul did the most with less. So I think that's a reason why I feel like Chris Paul was the MVP. Was Chris Paul a better player than Kobe in 08? No, not at all. Not on the same level. We're not gonna act like that. Not gonna try to play and say like I'm saying something like that. I'm just saying like when it comes down to a person that's more valuable to their team, then Chris Paul was most valuable. And last, I don't know what year, but probably a couple of years that Tim Duncan got the MVP because Shaq was like fucking ridiculous at this time. So I'm like Tim Duncan getting MVPs because they felt like they couldn't give him to Shaq or Kobe. So yeah, I don't know exactly what year, but I just wanted to add Tim Duncan on there. Bro, Tim Duncan gonna hate me if he listens to this podcast. I apologize, Big Fundamental.
Man, everybody gonna listen to this fucking podcast, man. Don't worry, you're gonna make enemies on this shit. You're gonna make enemies. You keep fucking with Championship Ringside, you're gonna make some enemies. All right. Shit, about to say. Keem fucked up the LeBron sponsor. Keep fucking with his son.
Oh man.
Everybody think I hate the
look,
Last
I've been
Dance.
drinking, so don't worry about it.
Man, everybody think I hate the Last Dance. I'm like, man, let me see. I say the Last Dance a top 5-ish documentary for 2020. Everybody like, what you mean top 5-ish? I'm like, man, Tiger King was out. You know what I'm saying? Master P came out with his No Limit Chronicles. You know what I'm saying? Undertaker dropped the Last Ride documentary. I mean, then you got the Last Dance. I'm just saying, you know, you got some better entertainment out there. That's all. Shout out to fucking Jordan, man. All right. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna push back first. Keem said he gonna try to jump on before we end. I ain't gonna try. I'm gonna try not to go over 2 hours. You know, this the fun one right here. Kareem. I think we need to fall back on Kareem winning that MVP without making the playoffs. Because like I said, the players was voting for that. Who are we to question? Like I do hate the sports players analysis who be, I played the game, I know what I'm talking about shit. I do hate that. That gets on my nerves because like you scored as many points as me tonight. What the fuck you mean? Like you can give X's and O's, but don't make more than the next person when you're sitting on the side like me. But when we talking about the players voting for MVP, these dudes who actually like, I gotta check this dude or I gotta play this dude team tonight. That's the only reason I say, okay, I could let Kareem MVP slide. I'm not even tripping on Kareem MVP because it wasn't a media. Like, how could you call that a gimmick if the dudes who playing going against? It's hard for me to call that again. Now, the Dave Collins shit, maybe that was some hating shit, but that kind of is a kickback. That's kind of contradicting what I'm saying. I do think I give respect on that. Maybe they just felt like Dave Collins, you know, I don't know. Maybe something on somebody. I don't know. But let's go to, you talk about the Steve Nash thing. See, the Steve Nash thing, my only rebuttal to that is the fact that when we talk about Steve Nash, we gave him MVP for the exact same reason. I don't think he lost too much. He lost Johnson, but Amari was hurt, but I still think, okay, it was the exact same thing to me. Like we repeated the MVP for the exact same reason, and it's like he didn't lead the team to more wins. Like we trying to say, okay, he didn't even score more points that year. Like he just replaced the players, and like that's the thing I'm looking at. Okay, the players are good. So let's get to the real shit, man. Let's get to the real shit. That's hating. Stop hating, bro. Let me tell you the reason Westbrook got this MVP. Reason number one is because he put up the best numbers that year. Reason number two is because he led his team, newly formed team, to the playoffs. Number three, he lost the second best player in the NBA. Most people thought they was going to be rebuilding. Most people thought they was going to be outside the playoffs looking in. But nah, he overcame that and got them to the 6th seed. I give you Harden. But Harden's team was already there. And they lost Dwight Howard, which this was Dwight Howard's downfall. So I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, okay, losing Dwight Howard is the same caliber as losing Kevin Durant. The fact he lost Kevin Durant. Oh, that's cool, man. Look.
I just got to show I'm not a Mamba hater.
I'm about to say.
Mamba hater, you dig?
Look. That's gonna be the best we're gonna place on this podcast. We're gonna bet jerseys. I need me a CP3 jersey next to my Drew Brees. I got my Westbrook on right now. That's gonna go right here. And I need my Michael Jordan jersey. That's gonna be the one you buy when you make a stupid bet this year. You're gonna buy my Michael Jordan. Hey, man, you're gonna buy my Michael Jordan, and you're gonna buy my Michael Jordan, it's gonna go right there, and then you're gonna buy my Chris Paul, go right there. And you keep making stupid takes, you're gonna buy my Westbrook jersey, go right there. That's how we planned it this year.
I can't support West.
So you got to get out your hating moves, bro. He lost Kevin Durant. He was a scoring champion. He powered a newly formed team to a 6th seed in a wild, wild west. That is enough to be an MVP. That is Steve Nash-esque with better numbers.
Yeah, if James Harden
I don't have to mention the triple because like I could just go off of those. Did. I could say he was a scoring champ. Well, I have to say numbers because that's the reason you'll have James Harden up there too. But if we go by narrative, James Harden lost to Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard actually jumped on his team that was already established and then wound up leaving. So pretty much you just gave Eric Gordon and Trevor Ariza bigger roles, which Trevor Ariza was a champion by then. And at that time, Eric Gordon was a 3-and-D guy. And who else they had on the team? Ryan Anderson was I think that was when he was still decent. He was a long range threat, and that team was already there. How leaving wasn't no effect. Kevin leaving your team, that's a big thing. And guess what? He put the team on his back. Oladipo wasn't Oladipo everybody know right now. Oladipo was a trending star. He wasn't the all-star everybody think he is now. He wasn't like that in OKC. Steven Adams and Eric Cantor, it came together. One bad at defense, one bad at offense. Man, do I need to go on? What a round of applause at.
No.
Westbrook,
they actually
come get your fucking trophy, Westbrook. Come get your fucking trophy, Westbrook. God damn. Well, he can't have them. Well, his shit probably bigger than Ryan trophies.
Ryan Anderson not. But I'm saying Ryan Anderson is not like Ryan Anderson bad at defense. If we're looking at a 4 that's bad at defense. Like Cancer is bad at defense and good at offense. Like that's,
he is.
Like,
he is.
Yeah, like we're looking at this. We're looking at this like these two teams. Like we're looking at Houston and OKC. These two teams are formulated the same type way. Yeah, those teams.
We talking first years versus 2 to 3 years. You talking about the play style?
No, I'm saying they're formulated the same type. No, what I'm saying is they're formulated the same type way. Like when it comes down to Oladipo, like yes, Oladipo got better when he left Westbrook, and we can attribute Westbrook to some of that because I would assume that the way that Westbrook is on the court, his work ethic is ridiculous when it comes down to him being off the court. So I could attribute some of that to Oladipo. I mean, some of Oladipo's progression to Westbrook. I can't do that. But when it comes down to like who he was, like I want to say Oladipo averaged 16 or 18 at Orlando. You feel me? So we knew that he can score. You feel me? Like we knew he could score like prior to Westbrook. But at the same time, Westbrook dominates the ball. When it comes down to Eric Gordon can score as well. You feel me? And Eric Gordon, I want to say if we go all the way back to his Clippers years, like when he was probably like a top 5 pick, like he probably gave you 22 then. What he did when it came down to the Pelicans and when he was it the Pelicans? I don't know. Whatever. When he came to New Orleans, what he did when he came down to Eric Gordon.
Who you talking about?
Eric Gordon.
Well, he was mostly hurt. I don't even count that. He started getting healthy in Houston.
But yeah, all I'm saying is when it came down to it, we didn't expect Eric Gordon after the injury to be like a 20-point per game scorer. We didn't expect that from Eric Gordon. We didn't expect that from him. We expect him to have role player type shit where it was going to be like 16 points a game. Same shit for Oladipo. We figured the same thing when it came down to both of them. Now, once you add the other pieces to it, like Capella wasn't nobody. Like Capella was like fucking DeAndre Jordan light.
In Houston,
In Houston,
he was a better Dwight Howard. He was a better Dwight Howard though.
He was, but what I'm saying is he was like a light version. So it wasn't the fact that he was a cheaper version. That was really the thing. He was cheaper than that. But it's just the fact that all the players around those two guys, there was just, and my bad, I'm jumping in on your shit, but I'm just saying all those players was role players around that. Yeah, all those players were role players around that.
Yeah, these ones I need to rebuttal on because.
Now look, I will give you this. James Harden had more space to work with because they put more three-point shooting around him. I will give you that. James Harden had more space to work with because if you put like when it came down to Ryan Anderson at three-point line, you got Trevor Reeves at three-point line, you got Eric Gordon at three-point line, you have the pick and roll with Capella. So shit, you gonna double James or we gonna allow the Capella? Or you gonna crash in from those three-point shooters, whereas Westbrook, like you didn't have as many three-point shooters around him because you're not really worrying too much about. You either worry about Capella or not Capella, Adams or Cantor as the pick and roll, and it's probably more Adams because Cantor is better when it comes down to offensive rebounding and a three-point shooter, which Oladipo is a three-point threat, but he's better when he has the ball in his hands. And who else you had? Roberson was a 3-and-D player, but he wasn't. He was much more a D player than a 3.
Oh, Roberson? Nah, it's strictly defense. Strictly defense. He couldn't shoot with the shit.
Yeah, I'm like that's why I say I'm like he's much better. He's much better when it comes down to defense than it comes down to a 3-point.
He hit a 3-pointer. He hit a 3-pointer. They celebrating the city and rocking like crazy. He was trash at shit.
I can't lie, that boy. Yeah. So I will give you that when it comes down to James Harden, like his team was more constructive when it comes down to like his offense or whatever like that. It's just the fact that like.
So pretty much, I'm just saying Westbrook had a better narrative. Like I get what you're saying. We want the problem. I completely understand. The problem with the MVP is there's no clear criteria. No clear criteria.
There isn't. That shit trash.
Again, I do feel like if he wound up getting 9.8, I still think he probably got the MVP. If he did 9.8 rebounds, I think he still got the MVP.
No,
that's my opinion.
No. You wouldn't.
That's still. I'm just saying. Well, James Harden had averaged 7 rebounds or something like that. He like 11 assists and 7 rebounds that year.
You said what?
So let's move to the next MVP.
I think James had
let's get to
8 rebounds that year.
Problem with
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just saying. I think he still had a debate for it, but yeah, that would help. But I don't think it was. Kobe.
Bean?
I still think he had back on him winning that MVP. Chris Paul, maybe because I wasn't a fan of Nash MVPs, so maybe that's why I don't think Chris Paul deserved an MVP. Like I'm not the guy who sits there and say, "Oh, he went to this one team and everybody better." Like I didn't give Westbrook credit. I didn't give Westbrook MVP credit for getting the Wizards to the playoffs. Like just like Chris Paul, I think he deserves credit for the way he played, but nah, man, the other players get better. Like I think when you put the right person in the right system, you get that person love. But MVP love, I think the same criteria you gave I forgot which one you said. If you take that person off that team, how good is that team? I don't think the Lakers that good without Kobe. Even though you can say the same thing about the Hornets, but nah, I think Kobe had good numbers that year, and I just think he edged it out. Plus, I think Kobe was the better defender, the better two-way player here also.
All right, so like I guess when we look at it, when it comes down to them that year, they probably was both of them was probably first team NBA defense and first team NBA. I assume I'm not absolutely sure, but they definitely both lottery teams without Kobe and Chris Paul. We not even gonna
Right.
try to act like they're not. I will say that Kobe does have the better team. I think
I agree.
the people who I can remember on that team is Lamar Odom and Paul Gasol. But I think Kobe has the better squad. The difference between them was one win. What was really one win between a contender and somebody who is not really a contender. Like we was a contender because Chris Paul was there, but because Chris Paul overachieved. But we didn't feel like we was contenders. We was just that we was there for the ride. We was happy. Like when it comes down to the city of New Orleans, we're happy to be along for the ride. We didn't feel like we had championship aspirations that year. Like we knew it was possibility that we knew it was pretty much Boston and the Lakers or Boston and Spurs. That's really what it was. And when the Lakers got Paul Gasol for really Kwame Brown, because that's who was really traded. We like Mark Gasol wasn't on the
Watch him
timeline,
out.
Kobe,
Watch him out.
but he wasn't. We know he wasn't. Mark Gasol
Nah,
was
home.
not on the
I'm talking
same
about Kwame.
timeline because
Don't
Mark Gasol.
don't don't get on Kwame radar. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, listen, I I listen. I ain't coming at Kwame at all. I personally think Kwame was good. I don't think he was the first overall pick. I think he was good on the aspect of that he played like 10, 11 years in the NBA. So if Kwame was
Come on, man. Don't change it. Don't sit there and make me change the fucking subject, dog.
I'm
Like
just saying,
what the
Kwame
wait,
was
what the
able
fuck
to.
that? What was that? Are you serious?
I'm saying,
Are you scared
wait,
right now? Are you nervous or something?
am I nervous coming at Kwame Brown? I'm not coming at Kwame Brown,
No,
man.
the dude.
my
Look,
nigga Kwame Brown out
keep it
here over
funky.
here.
He if we
Kwame
gonna
like
talk
I'm
about
Tyson in
him
the
getting
80s right
paid,
now. You dig?
he got
Look,
paid. He
Kwame
got
like
paid.
Tyson
He
in
did
the
his
80s. You
thing.
dig? I'll eat your
Look,
children.
look,
Like Kwame, I don't want that trouble, big Kwame.
look.
but no, but
Shout out
for real,
shout out
look.
shout out to Kwame. But look, the dude
But
never
look, this is what
averaged
I will
above
say.
11 points. Like, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Kwame Brown was able to get a 10-year career in the NBA or 11, whatever
Yeah.
amount of years that Kwame. So was he a first overall pick? No, absolutely not. Should Kwame have gone in the first round? I don't know. But I will say when it comes down to him just being in the NBA, like there's people that have been in the NBA that have been worse. Absolutely. So, but back to what we talking about. I feel like Chris Paul did more with less, right? And that's my criteria
Mm-hmm.
for him as far as MVP because when it comes down to him doing more with less, like he was on that level. He was a second seed in the West, in the Wild Wild West, a second seed, you dig, in the West when he had no business of being a second seed. We knew going into the season it was the Spurs probably going to be the first seed, the Lakers who was going to probably be the second seed. We didn't have anybody else, like we didn't have the Hornets on the radar or anything like that. Nah, that wasn't where it was. You did. Once Chris Paul started playing and put Hornets in a second seed, that's a completely different conversation. So I feel like because he elevated that team so much that, yeah, he was MVP of that season. The only reason why he wasn't the MVP of that season is because the NBA fucked over Kobe so much to where it's like, how the hell can we have the history of the NBA without Kobe Bryant being an MVP? He is the best player for 10 years, or at least co-best player for 10 years with Tim Duncan. How can we say that he's not an MVP? Because we have Chris Paul that's coming up. We also have LeBron, who averaged 37 and 5 that year. So when it comes down to Kobe, whose numbers are declining, LeBron numbers are going up. We don't have any other choice but to give it to him this year, or he's not going to get it. I feel like that was lifetime
I can see what anybody,
and it was no, yeah.
I can see why anybody feel that way. I just, when it comes to, so the Westbrook and Kobe MVP, I do get the argument, but you present it like, nah, they got fucked over. It's like, nah, that's who got the MVP. That's I could argue Jordan deserved more too, but we split hairs. I went.
Well, no, you have to split hairs when it comes down to MVP, because what I'm saying is, if Kobe MVP, I'm saying that Westbrook or Kobe, they are top 3 in MVP voting those years. They didn't just fuck around and pick an MVP and say, oh, we're gonna get to Ryan Anderson. Nah, they didn't do that. They picked it to people who were deserving, but they just wasn't deserving that particular year. So what I'm saying is, if Westbrook deserves MVP the year that Westbrook deserves MVP, then LeBron deserves MVP the year that Kobe got MVP. But that's not the truth, because when we look at it, like, Kobe brought his team to number 1 seed in the Western Conference, where LeBron probably got a 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like, there's levels to this, and these two things are not the same.
Oh, wait, there was 5?
In 08, I don't know. Probably. Or 4.
They probably been 1 in 08.
I would assume they're 4. No, there wasn't 1.
I thought that was. Oh, no,
not
Boston
Cleveland.
was running
Cleveland
the league.
wasn't 1.
Boston was running the league then, my bad.
Yeah, Cleveland wasn't 1. Yeah, that was the first year that the Big 3 got together.
All right, so it seemed like the problem me and you have is the same problem everybody have with this fucking MVP award, and it's the criteria. I assume we agree on that.
Yeah, the criteria is not the same and never is the same. It's always changing. So I think that's a huge problem with the criteria of the MVP.
So let's use this platform, see if we can discuss this. All right. This, I guess, it's gonna be our last one too, because we about to hit 2 hours. All right. So MVP, I guess you have a clear criteria. Clearly, I don't have a clear criteria because I feel like I don't know what you would base that off. I think you probably do need to separate the trophy of either separate the trophy of best player and most valuable, or you just ask a rule or a criteria, what do you call valuable? Because if you don't have anybody who made this big turnaround, you just give it to the best player and the best team. Or if there's no best player on the best team because the best team is the Atlanta Hawks, they'll give it to just the best player in the league, type shit. And I think that's where the problem comes in at. But is there a criteria to fix it?
So
that's the part. I will see what you think on that.
So my thing is, when it comes down to the criteria for MVP, is like the person who elevates their team the most, right? So when it comes down to it, we're looking at like a Herculean effort. And if we're looking at a Herculean effort, so shit, I don't know. If we put LeBron on the Magic, right? The Magic missed the playoffs. But if LeBron get them to a 1 or 2 seed, it's hard to say that he's not the MVP, right? Because he brought the Magic to a 1 or 2 seed. Now, with that said, if it's the next year and he's still on the Magic team and he still brings them to a 1 or 2 seed, he's still an MVP, even though it didn't change. But he's still the main player on that team, or the one star on that team. Now, if you fuck around and have like Steph Curry and LeBron James on the same team, it's hard to give them an MVP because, like, when it comes down to it, who's more valuable? Or if you take one of the players off that team, then it's a possibility that that team can still do great without them. So if they are 1 seed, LeBron and Steph, and Steph leaves, and LeBron still gets them to like a 2 seed, it's hard to really change that. You feel me? Um, I guess when it comes down to it, I think the Herculean effort has to be with the top seed, has to be the top of the list, right? I think the next thing that you look at is if there is any type of way that you wind up having somebody who's
So how you looking
swayed
at
a
Herculean effort
whole
though?
version. Herculean effort is definitely going to be like when it comes down to, like, we can look at James Harden
Wait,
and
before
Russell
you
Westbrook,
answer,
right? Both of
before
those
you
are
answer,
Herculean
before you answer,
efforts.
before you answer, I just want to get your criteria on that because I won't even use Steve Nash because he's a perfect example. I use a weird example. I use Westbrook. Westbrook, from what you feel, won got that MVP because of the triple double, and he got his team to the 6th seed. I think that's a more credit to him. Now, people kind of count the whole Paul George Carmelo thing against Westbrook, and he still averaged a triple double, but he still got them to the 6th seed, even though Paul George coming off that leg injury, and Carmelo wasn't Carmelo in Portland, Denver, New York. Carmelo was not Carmelo in OKC. I don't know if you want to blame Westbrook, but I think Carmelo's just in a bad spot because he looked like Houston Carmelo at that time. So I want to show your take on how can you repeat a Herculean effort, because technically Westbrook's second triple double season was better than the first. So where you stand at when it comes to Herculean effort? Because do you feel
So
like you could repeat a Herculean effort, and how?
so no, so no. What I'm saying is Russ had a Herculean effort, right? He did. The only thing that I say is when it comes down to somebody who had a more of a Herculean effort was Harden. That's the only reason why I'm saying that Russ didn't deserve MVP because Harden did. That's the only thing. Um, you can repeat a Herculean effort because, like, it doesn't mean just because, like, say for example, if you win 55 games this season, that next season that you guys are expected to win 55 wins. Nah, you still got to put that work in order for you to win 55 games because you didn't sign anybody. So because you didn't sign anybody, then yeah, you got to still put in that work in order to win that 55 games. So that's where I'm saying, like, it's still a Herculean effort in order for them to win those amount of games. You feel me? So it's just the fact that when we talking about a Herculean effort, that's still going to be players doing a lot in order to get to a certain point. So I think that's the top criteria. I think next would be like players that's I don't want to say the missing piece on a team, but players who sway their teams winning in a completely different fashion. And I can't think about another one. So the last one would probably be not really the best player on the best team, but Yeah, probably the best player on the best team. I think that's the lowest one. I think that's really the cop out when it comes down to the MVP, because when you can't figure out who the hell you're gonna give MVP to, like when you talk about the Hawks, obviously ain't nobody on the Hawks team
Right.
was an MVP caliber player, but like if we're looking at the best players on the best teams, we're looking at those top four seeds right now. We're looking at one in the West, 1 and 2 in the West, and 1 and 2 in the East, and we're looking and seeing like which of those players had the least amount of help, and then we'll go on an MVP by then.
So put in perspective, put in order again to clear it up. What criteria comes to the MVP? What you look for first?
Herculean
Well,
effort
in order, I
first.
mean.
Yeah, so in order, Herculean effort, that's the top of the criteria. The second is a player that sways their teams winning. Like, so for example, if a player moves from one team to another and that player winds up swaying that team winning to a different level. And then at the bottom you have best player, best team, or best player top tier team rather than best player best team. I don't like the best player best team argument.
All right. Well, like I said, I think I pretty much agree with you on that. I think the problem is the levels of Herculean effort, and plus there's always a story behind every MVP award. So I think that's where there's always going to be a debate at.
Yeah, I think they change the criteria every once in a while. So when it comes down to it, sometimes you're gonna have a criteria where you have Herculean effort, you're gonna have that best player, best team, and you're gonna have that player that moved teams to sway the winning effort of that team all in one season. And you're gonna have people that value those things differently. And because they value those things differently, they're gonna look at it like it's a debate on who deserves what. So when it comes down to it, it's like, or maybe you might wind up having two of those things that happen. So you try to debate those things, and it's like it's not really giving you a clear answer. Where it's like, I don't know, this shit seemed clear to me.
Nah, not every year though, right?
Shit, that shit change every year, bro. It changes
No, I'm
every
saying
year.
you said it's clear to you. You said it's clear to you every year who the MVP is.
No, it's not clear to me every year, but sometimes it's like it's
Oh,
clear to me. No, it's always a debate.
I
There's always a debate.
value that the word that is always gonna be the V. The V gonna fuck everybody up every time, bro. What is value? And that's why if you differ on it,
Right.
it's gonna always be a mix up. All right, man. I think we covered the ones we wanted to talk about today. This is the first episode. Like I said, we're gonna have many more to come. We're gonna have more heated debates ready to come. We ain't touch on a lot of shit that need to get some love. We got this Kobe Jordan, we got the Chris Paul, we got the top point guards. What else? We got
I don't even know.
top
I don't
scores,
even know why those are
top
debates.
scores, top scores. And I also think you need to I think you got some takes on some of our podcast episodes too that we need to touch, that you wanted to touch on too. Probably don't continue doing 2-hour lives. We might probably try to keep it to the. Yeah, what I probably try to do is keep it to where it's like, you know, every time we have a debate, we'll probably do a good 20-30 minute live and then push it out. You know, small seconds for people who got, you know, short attention spans like myself.
I feel that.
All right, so I guess about the you got some. Oh shit! So that means it worked out perfect then. So we're gonna definitely. I gotta find a way to share this. I gotta find a way to share this out some more. So get some more live people. But like I said, I'm gonna try to see if I can edit into small segments because we went over a lot of things. But besides that, I mean, you got any takes on it before we kill it?
Not really. Follow me on IG Protein Shake, whatever. Y'all see it on now.
I don't think I got the names popped up. I kind of fucked that part up. Let me see if I can get your name popped up on the screen.
No.
Yeah, I'm still getting this shit down. Yeah. So I actually gotta get it. I gotta get this stream on Facebook and Twitch too, because I got a Twitch page and everything. But anything I'm about to say, I'm about to close out. So check it out. As always, y'all know if y'all need to hit us up, Blizzard Blaze, Grandma Keem, hit up Facebook Championship Ringside, Twitter @Champ Ringside, Instagram Championship_Ringside, Gmail ChampionshipRingside@gmail.com. Of course, support the YouTube channel, support everything that we're doing. We support back. BLM, guys, shit. At this point, stay sanitized forever. Damn, I didn't know what to say before I got crazy. Be smart, please be smart. Stop hating, stop bitching. Say what?
Team TD.
What the hell is that?
That's y'all mayor, man. I ain't even out there no more, but I gotta support Team TD.
I don't follow politics, my dude. It's all ran by one person at the end of the day. Fucking politicians all report the Zordon. Yeah, commands.
Oh, man.
I don't even follow politics like that. But besides that, man, I guess the way the news looking, everybody be safe. Championship Ringside. G, we will see you back again. Because the base don't stop with you apparently. But watch yourself. Don't get cancer before you get started, bro. Dude, that, bro. Dude on like damn, like relax. Like relax, like damn. I didn't think it was that serious. Like
chill out, man.
Chill out, big brother. All I look at, I knew the Stephen A. Smith was well deserved, but god damn, he started just got the fucking lifesaver, got the shit just like, anything in sight. Like damn, Kwame. But shit, I think that's it, man. I appreciate you stopping by, dog. We're gonna definitely have to do this again sometime soon. Hopefully more flashy, more organized, and more of a live audience. Till then, bro. Appreciate you. Happy basketball. Stop. Stop. Look, don't forget either. Hey, look, Lakers got a new fan, brother. The Lakers back in purple and gold. It's on. It's on. Yeah. They know. It's back on again. Happy basketball, G.